Hello, class of 2000. I can't believe that we managed to get away from Y2K and have our matric year only to have COVID-19 steal our 20-year reunion. But for a class that matriculated without a single cell phone in hand, it's pretty impressive that we managed to get a digital reunion together using just our cell phones. So Skip and I have been married for the past 8 years. We live near Tino Town on a farm with 2 kids, Skip farms. I do whatever Skip tells me to do. And yeah, for the most part, it works. Skip has grown up some since school, still got a very cheeky sense of humor, still has little regard for rules and regulations, and still has a very interesting command of the English language. You might find him saying something like, sorry, I can see him smiling at me, like, don't be jala my nan, I'll get tea if you try and chow my lunch. You'll sort of look at him a little bit funny. My Kingswood memories go back to 1993, to the days of intermediate standard 3T Eric the Ice Cream Man. He used to love his Double Delight. Not a very friendly man, but he did a roaring trade at not at the jaywalk, at the zebra crossing. I remember that weekends used to feel like they lasted an eternity, and the only way to fill them up was with hopscotch, Foursquare, Sweet Valley High, Judy Bloom, the Agony Aunt, like comic strip with photos at the back of People magazine. And during rest on Sundays, when we had to write our home letters and you had to rack your brain to make them long enough to pass Miss Van Rensburg's inspection. Yeah, weekends were exciting. I also remember sitting on the stairs outside Miss Pry's flat, waiting for your turn at the ticky box, clutching your handful of coins, hoping that the coins will actually work. And I especially remember kneeling on the groove tiles in the icy cold passage for talking after lights out. Not my favorite. I remember Sister Hudson and Sister Cook's good cop, bad cop routine at the San. You used to peep in through the door, and if you weren't on your deathbed and you saw Sister Hudson, you'd have to get out of there. But if you saw Sister Cook, you might even manage to get something for homesickness. I really enjoyed those two. I loved going to town on Wednesdays. My favorites were having fudge ice cream at Dulcie's when the Prices still owned it. I loved going to have a chat to Chick Fincham at Cardi's, maybe get a poster for your cube. I loved buying something on account at Butler's Pharmacy. And then on the way back, if we were too hot and tired to walk via African Street, I remember sprinting up the stairs on that dodgy shortcut that comes up there near the music school, and then putting on your basher and trying to look normal, like you hadn't just done a wrong thing. I also remember Village Green during festival, when it was still the days of mini donuts, tie-dye, druggy-looking painted fairies, and vendors all over the place going, and fudge, chip, chip, chip. Always made me smile. We eventually moved on to Jake's house, where our lives were governed by the phases of the moon, by paper chase, determining your love interests. By the way, paper chase is completely legit. I married the one in the cupboard who will always be there for you. So for those of you who are still looking for the person of your dreams, full moon's the way to determine that. The other things that I loved at Jake's house, DTOs on a Saturday, Guidos, Ginos, KFC, Bambi's, definitely kept many a boarding school kid going. What I did not love about hostel was house meeting after chapel on a Sunday. I don't know if it was those house meetings or going to Spur on a Sunday on my way back to hostel after holidays, but some Sunday nights I still get that like, oh, boarding school feeling in my tummy. Speaking of my tummy, going to meals at the dining hall, walking past the boys playing alley cricket at Woodhouse used to feel like a death-defying act sometimes. But once I was in the dining hall, I was in my happy place. I loved being the last to leave with Pearl and Table, having had good chats. And I'm still pretty much the slowest eater I know. Nothing's changed there. What else? In high school, I remember the Huisgenoot. Every time I walk past a Huisgenoot in Pick and Pay, I still have a little chuckle at our Wednesday double Afrikaans. The new Huisgenoots are in. Mr. Ferreira's all organized. We're going to do mondelings. And we start preparing our mondelings, and he gets through Bailey, Baker, Brown, and then derails the conversation for the rest of the week. And the next week we start with a new Huisgenoot. So thanks to Bailey, Baker, Brown that the rest of us never had to do our mondelings. Thanks for taking or carrying the heavy load in that respect. Guys, I have an avalanche of things running through my head, and I can't believe I have to condense 3 days of chats into one video. Very hard for me. but I think I'd be remiss not to pay tribute to two of our classmates. To Tebi Khasanalwe, she was beautiful inside and out, Colgate smile, infectious laugh. The world was a better place for having her in it. And Tapelo Moshi, hat. He had a poker face, but such a knack for making people laugh. We used to have double chemistry after break on a Friday afternoon, painful to concentrate at that time in the week. And we used to sit upstairs, the whole class and Mrs. Hoyle, and watch Tapelo come from Jagger House, sauntering across, ambling across Nightfield, taking ages. And eventually, when he got to the bottom of the stairs, he'd pound up the stairs as loud and as fast as he could, and then come panting and huffing into the class, apologizing for the crisis that supposedly made him late. Good times, guys. I'm really disappointed that we're not outside the Y-Vent, stomping our feet, squinting into the dark, trying to remember names and faces. But our turn will come, and until then, take care.
Hi guys, it's me, the Skip Cat. For those of you who don't remember, Henry Stretton. I'm married to Liesel, in case anyone hasn't heard the newsflash. I'll start from the beginning. Conehouse. Just some names that come to mind: Chucks, Jep, Bales, Michael Brown, Tuto, Jojo, and Jeepers. What an awesome time we had in Conehouse, guys. Do you remember Mr. Kent? And do you remember Gaki? He used to look after us and write us little notes on the bulletin board every day about the state of everyone's cubes and how neat they were and who needs to pull their socks up. And then following them, it was Mrs. Aspling and Mrs. Wood. We used to call her Mrs. Planka. That was also quite an interesting stage. The Stooges, just what horrible people they were. The Moet brothers. Wow, never want to see those oaks again. That made us do early morning essays about the life on the inside of a ping pong ball, to name a few odd topics. What about the time, guys, when Tuto on a Sunday afternoon was riding his bicycle and we were pushing him around the lawn there for some reason, and one of the Moet brothers had washed his special wool jersey and he'd laid it out in the sun, and Tuto went over the dog poo and then over the nice clean white jersey, and dog poo all over Mr. Moet's jersey, and we were so terrified of these oaks. We had to get that jersey up into the hostel and get it washed and try and wash the poo off and then put it back in the sun. And I remember Mr. Moet coming at like 5 in the afternoon and the jersey was still sopping wet and being very confused as to why it's taken the whole day to dry. Guys, 95 World Cup final. Will you ever forget that, watching that in the Conehouse common room? And did you ever think you'd be talking about it 25 years later, or for the rest of your life for that matter? Junior school excursions to Hobbiton. Yeah, that was awesome memories. Then senior school, straight into Woodhouse with, to name a few, Shindo, Jep, Bales, and Doug. And later Spyro joined us when the mischief started getting out of hand. I remember Matrix giving us a wind when we were in standard 6. They used to play this game called hide and go beat. You had to hide away, and if they found you, then they beat you up, you know. And I remember hiding in a trunk, and remember the whole trunk just getting thrown down the stairs with me inside it. Not a good place to hide for future reference, but yeah, those were awesome memories, eh? And what about Tap Tap taking us for PT on frosty mornings, making us do push-ups and rolling around in the frost with no shoes on. Yeah, that was hectic. I remember in guidance, Mrs. Victor always wanting to get us on the right track for our careers, you know, and one day asking Tuto what he wants to be when he grows up, and he said, "Ma'am, I want to be a gynecologist." And I'm pretty sure he got kicked out of the class. And so yeah, Tuto, as far as I know, you're a cattle herder now, but yeah, big up, shoot for the stars, eh? Anyway, teachers from senior school, Mr. Jones, definitely a classic. Mr. James, don't ever remember doing anything in Mr. James's class, ever. Just talking about Super 12 in those days, and then yeah, doing nothing. I think Kerry Warren did some work once and she got kicked out. She got sent to the B class. And do you remember that story that Mr. James told about that kid Dobson in his previous school, where Mr. James was dating one of the female teachers, and this kid Dobson made an inappropriate comment, and Mr. James demonstrated to all of us how he got onto his desk and he dived off his desk and took the kid by the throat off the back of his chair and said, "Dobson, Tonna, what the F did you just say?" But he didn't say what the F, he said the whole thing. And I remember going around the school like wildfire. Every single class that came in asked him to tell the story over and over again. It was like a legend. Yeah, Mr. Wilding for maths. Yes, what a dry sense of humor. And definitely I'll never forget Mr. Wilding catching Wesley Ersting for smoking behind the maths block. And he was doing some work in the afternoon in his class, and he saw Wesley going past, and he waited for him, give him 2 or 3 minutes to light it up, and he walked around the back and he says, "Hey, Wesley, you're polluting my classroom. Go smoke somewhere else and tell your housemaster what you've been doing." So, such a dry sense of humor always. Mevrouw Skeepers, what a legend. Yo, in hindsight, what a job keeping us all in line, but she did her best, and awesome memories. So yeah, guys, all in all, what a lack of time. Pity we can't see you guys this year. Looking forward to 2021 catching up. Let's make a big effort. Cheers.
Hi, class of 2000. I know many of us were looking forward to seeing each other at our 20-year reunion this year. And although COVID put a stop to that, or took care of it for us, we were always a class that did things very differently. And so it was no surprise when our 20-year reunion was slightly different. If I look back on the 20 years since we left school, things are very different to back then, when Toffee was the only person who had a cell phone. When our biggest stress in our life was whether we would get a cheese salmi at lunch or at break time, and whether we would make it out of the chemistry lab alive. Today, many of us have kids. I don't know how that happened. We have successful jobs, and when we're just more responsible. It just shows you that anything is possible. So I look forward to seeing you all next year. And since we've all had an extra year to prepare, to get rich, to lose weight, to make something of ourselves, it will certainly be worth the wait. And until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and start planning to attend the Class of 2000 21-year reunion.
Hi everyone from sunny England, it's Heinz here. Hope you're all doing really well. So what have I been up to for the past 20 years? Well, I'm living in the UK now, just outside London, and yeah, that's been for the past 14 years. I have a lovely wife and a 3-legged cat. Still play golf, still love cars. Run my own digital marketing agency out here. Yeah, generally life's quite good. Hope it is for you guys too.
Hi guys, Dumelang, all the way from Gaborone, Botswana. Would have loved to have seen you guys this year, but then Corona happened. Guess we'll give it a shot again next year. Cheers and take care.
Hey everyone, good to chat to you via video message. I cannot believe it's been 20 years since we finished school, and it's been a really interesting 20 years. Where I'm at is I live in the Western Cape. I've been down here since 2006 and had absolute fun. Currently I work as head of marketing for a privately owned Pan-African business. So a lot of responsibilities only also in South Africa, and also projecting across the rest of the continent, which is really fun. I love traveling into Africa, and I love traveling and seeing our neighbors. It always puts things into perspective for you. I've been married to Lauren, who you would have met at the previous reunion. We've been married now almost 9 years, so it's about 8.5 years, and we've got 2 amazingly beautiful kids. Olivia, a 4-year-old daughter, who tests my patience every single day, but I believe it only gets better from here, and especially into the teen years with a little girl. And then my son Jordan, who's 22 months, so almost 2 years old, and I love them to bits. They are literally my world. Just wanted to leave a message though. I know coronavirus has had a massive impact in terms of the world, and we also see that the Black Lives Matter campaign is gaining traction in the US and also in Europe now as people are protesting. But I hope everyone has taken the time during these lockdowns to actually kind of reassess, the priorities in life. What is important to you, and the way that I look about it, it's around.
Hey guys, Clayton Lloyd here. Just thought I'd do my video quickly. just give you a bit of background where I am at the moment.
No, cock. 2 for 1. We do things as twins, so let's do this over and get it done with.
Right, so as you can see, we're both living in Ireland at the moment, just south of Dublin, where I work as a design agent for a design consultancy at the moment.
And I work for a software development company.
And together we actually have our own business as well, running a software application that's used across the world. Yeah.
Furthermore, both got 2 kids. Both keep our time quite
Two very
occupied.
busy kids each.
And I suppose fondest memory. I suppose one that probably was one of the funnier ones was when you caused cock with our English teachers, Mrs. Dunn and who was yours? Mr. Knock.
Yeah.
When we swapped classes for a week, and they didn't know that one was the other.
Yeah.
So
It
that
certainly
was
came interesting to writing tests in the class.
Yeah.
But it was one of the good ones. But had a great time at Kingswood growing up there, right from standard 5 through to matric. Got to meet a whole bunch of people, and we actually still keep in touch with a bunch of people now, even afterwards. I think it's one of the great things about the relationships you make at the schools, that you carry them through.
Yeah, but I think we're going a bit too long now. They said 2 minutes. I don't know if we get 4 minutes because there are 2 of us. But let's just stick it to the 2 minutes wrap.
Yeah.
So
We'll end on that note and just say, hopefully the rest of you guys are all keeping well, and look forward to hopefully catching up one day and seeing you guys.
cheers.
Cheers.
Hi guys, Brett here. This is my, I think, 5th attempt. I keep buggering this thing up and I really don't want to look like an idiot, but that's pretty hard. Really bummed that this reunion's not happening. I was really looking forward to a trip to the Eastern Cape and seeing all you guys. The things that spring to mind when it comes to my school days, obviously telling jokes with Tsepo, outside the dining hall. I still use a lot of his classic jokes to this day. One of my favorites being, what is yellow and dangerous? Shark infested custard. Oh, what a beaut. Another thing that springs to mind is English class with Mr. Knock. The tables were sort of put in like a U shape, and I was sit on the one side and I was directly opposite Gina De Silva and Lee Miles. And without fail, Gina De Silva would grab Lee Miles' leg and pull it to the side so that she would possibly be flashing me. Flip. Good times. Anyway, look forward to seeing you guys next year. And this video should be pretty cool. Alright, bye.
What up, peeps? Hope everybody's doing great, man. It's COVID times. I'm at home. It's Monday. It's very quiet. It's been quiet for too long. I miss going to the office. Most people know me as Juice. I got to Kingswood when I was, I think, 13 years old, and from there it was great. It was the best time I ever had, I think. I don't remember going through hectic times like this. Yeah, it was hectic. I remember the fire. Jeez, when schoolhouse went down, bruh. It was the first time in my life where I saw fire trucks busy, bruh. Like, they were like in there. And how we came out of that, it was traumatic, but we're good. The school's good, everybody's good. And yeah, I remember the first day getting there and I didn't know anyone. Nobody. But I was welcomed nicely. Jagger House. Mr. Wilding was a breeze. He was cool. He was nice. But just do not do anything messed up. Yeah, I almost had a bad word there. I'm in Cape Town with my family. I've been here for about 5 years now. Live in Durbanville. It's a nice place. Yeah, I'm doing some nice work. I hope they like my work. You know how these people are. They always say nice stuff, but really. But yeah, I've been working for the same company now for 3 years since I came to Cape Town. I'm doing some IT work and I'm enjoying it. Really nice. I have 2 kids. I think you can hear them in the background. They're supposed to be doing schoolwork, but you know how kids are. Anyway, yeah, that's me, the Juice, reporting live from Cape Town, Durbanville. Cheers, guys.
Hey guys, Cindy here. Yeah, I think just like you, I never imagined that we would be spending our 20-year reunion this way, but at least we can buy some alcohol and say cheers to each other next weekend. I live in Cape Town with my husband Sango. We've got a 4-year-old son Tando and a daughter Leander who is 20 months old. Just trying to remember when last we slept. Yeah, I think 20 months. It's been a rough ride. I love it dearly. Love them both dearly. I love sleep too. But anyway, that's the joys. Yeah, so you would have thought that all those years in intermediate would prepare me for dealing with kids in lockdown and equip me with all the skills I need to keep them entertained. Yeah, I won't lie, it hasn't. I don't think anything could have prepared us for this. But it's been a good family time together as well, which we've got to kind of be grateful for. So yeah, when it comes to school memories and teachers that I think of, the first that comes to mind is obviously Mr. Smith, aka Noddy. The reason for this, I suppose, is for anyone who didn't get to know him really well, he could come across as pretty terrifying until you did get to know him, and underneath that, once you kind of won over his trust and got to know the deeper levels, you saw that he was just such a soft heart and he really cared for all the students that joined him on band camp. And often in my work life, I've come across similar personalities and I've been like, I know that there must be a teddy bear inside here. Let's just keep pushing at this and get to know them better. So he's definitely someone who has shaped me in terms of just resilience, practice making perfect, hard work, all those good things that he instilled in us. And yes, I do still get laughed at very much when I tell people I went on band camp. But hey, it's all good. So hopefully we'll be able to catch up in person at some point next year, but in the meanwhile, good to see you guys all virtually, and it's been great seeing all your photos and where everyone's at. It's been really interesting. So yeah, keep well. Cheers.
Hi guys, for those that don't recognize me, I'm Kerry Warren, now Kerry Kilpin. I live in Cape Town with my husband James and my little boy Alex, who's almost 2 now. I am a chef at Steenberg Wine Estate, looking after 2 restaurants, Bistro 1682 and Trin. She's trying to think of school memories. Wow, there's so many. And when you put you on the spot and have to try and think, I can't think of a bloody thing. Anyway, what I do remember is in matric, for some reason, we at Jake's house, the matric girls had driven Mrs. Thomas completely nuts, and she was so over us that there was a new house mistress that had come on board, Miss Reelinghuis. So she pawned us all off onto her, and we used to have to endure an hour meeting every Sunday night in Miss Reelinghuis's house while the rest of the boarders had their weekly meeting. The problem though was Miss Reelinghuis had probably about 10 cats, and these cats had peed everywhere. That house stank so badly, like it was like the longest hour of our lives sitting in there having a meeting when there was nothing to talk about. So yeah, we used to sit there all for like a full-on hour in this horrendously stinky flat. Anyway, after that, at least those that were prefects, we were fortunate enough we would go off to Mrs. Thomas's house and be spoilt rotten with chocolate cake and coffee and all sorts of delicious things for our prefect meeting. Anyway, hope everybody's well, and look forward to seeing everyone next year, hopefully, for our reunion. Take care. Bye.
Hi guys, Greg Wilmot here. Just thought that I'd record a bit of a longer message for our reunion and kind of a bit of feedback and comments about my experience of working with Kingswood at the moment. So I'm a counselling psychologist now. I live in Grahamstown. If you look directly behind me, there's Kirkby and there is Jake's house. Very fortunate to kind of live immediately kind of across the road and have the privilege of working professionally with Kingswood kids and staff as a psychologist, often kind of in the sports domain. Yeah, I've kind of studied at Rhodes, then went to the UK and studied some sports psychology, and then yeah, since 2010 I've lived here in Grahamstown, practiced as a psychologist. I've worked at Rhodes in kind of various kind of capacities as a psychologist. Yeah, I've married, I've got a son, his name is Petrus, my wife is Hermin. They're busy kind of walking now actually at Kingswood pre-primary. We also kind of have a social connection with the school because I am friends with kind of a number of members of staff and their kids. I also work, yeah, kind of a lot with Colleen, who's now the current head, and kind of various teachers and staff and kids, and really privileged to be able to say that I think Kingswood is in a really amazing position at the moment. It's been really well looked after. The grounds are absolutely incredible, and as I kind of walk around and was thinking this morning, I was thinking about the different kind of memories that we've all had. Sorry, those are my dogs just having a bark. I've got 2 border collies and a cat. And yeah, I'd encourage you to kind of come visit Kingswood again, come check it out, you know, support it as much as you can. It was an incredible 125 last year, and you know, a really well put on show, but really shows the quality of the school at the moment. Yeah, I was having some lovely memories of kind of being in Grahamstown with Daniel and Mark and Paul. We used to run the streets wild. It was a very privileged time in the 90s to kind of run wild in the streets, and there's a lot of illicit stories I should probably not tell about Joe Niven and vodka, but you know, those are some fun memories. But yeah, the great BB gunfight of 1997, after the schoolhouse fire, it really forged an incredible brotherhood between Chubb and Gain, and it was quite a baptism of fire to kind of enter into the school. But yeah, some very good memories I had. Captain of the mighty Fourths cricket team. And lots of kind of really amazing kind of hockey matches. I still think to this day that we were robbed on K-Day during a hockey match. But you know, such are the good memories that we'll never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Yeah, hope everyone is well. Look forward to hearing some stories. And yeah, if ever you're in Grahamstown, pop in for a coffee. I opened my new psychology practice in town this week. I spent a lot of time renovating and working on that. So I work there, and I work at Rhodes University as a psychologist, but also just get to kind of hang out with some of my buddies. So this is Bramble, and that's Bramble's mom. We've got lots of feral donkeys in Grahamstown, and lots of potholes too, but it's a really lovely place, and I look forward to kind of hearing what you guys have to say. Right, good luck and enjoy your reunion. Cheers, bye.
Hey guys, Tapo here. Unfortunately, we couldn't be together this year. So, you know, it would have been nice to meet up with you guys. As you can see, I'm wearing the colors. I just want to share some memories. You know, we'll never forget the excursions, standard 6, standard 7. I don't know if the guys still do it now, but excursions was definitely a classic. Remember Plet, I remember myself, Michelle, Kerry, I think Skip, walking on the beach, Marvin, and who can forget the war cries? Just after Grace, remember, before every rugby game, that was also quite a classic moment. And some of the guys might know, who can forget the jogs to the monument, the midnight jogs to the monument and back. Those are definitely favorite memories. Second team dogs, and I think the one that really sticks out for me as well is there was a time when Graham Fish became a bit of a folk hero after Grace. People say, eee. All right, hope to see you guys soon. Cheers.
Hi guys, this is Dinell aka Tucci saying hi all the way from Brisbane, Australia. Hope all of you are well, and I know it's quite unfortunate that we're not going to be able to meet in person. I started Kingswood in pre-primary and I stayed until the start of matric, so I missed out on all the fun stuff apparently. My favorite teacher was probably Mrs. Fletcher. I think she touched a lot of us and she gave everything that she has to her students. Plus she had great taste in BMWs, which I'll never forget. Something that stands out for me at school was probably Mr. Ferreira's Afrikaans class. I don't think we ever learned much, but we all read a lot of Huisgenoot and watched Vila Sekin, so that was always fun. I do hope that we do get to meet again in the future, and yeah, I hope you guys are all well. Take care.
Hey guys, I'm sorry I'm whispering, but I'm on Chapman's Peak and there are people everywhere. I feel like a total asshole doing this. Anyway, yes, as you can see, I live in Cape Town. Really not a bad place to be living. I'm divorced. I have 2 Jack Russells. I'm a garden designer. Been doing that for a very long time. I'm an out and out workaholic. I love my job. And I'm actually here to meet another Kingswoodian, a very special, very elusive, super camera shy. It's Sunday on Chapman's Peak. Super camera shy Kingswoodian, and oh, he's just rocked up. I'm going to see if I can get you a shot of him. Video. Come out from behind the tree.
You're doing a sneaky video of you.
How's it, guys? It's Chris, aka Sheen, aka Bottles O'Keefe, recording in from London. Crazy to think that I'm supposed to be packing my bags ready for my flight over to K-Day. Absolutely gutted it's not going ahead this year, but already looking forward to catching up with all you guys next year. Keep safe, keep well, and looking forward to seeing you. Cheers.
How's it, guys? It's Bruce Brown, aka Salty. They do still call me that, a lot of people. I live in Joburg with my wife and 2 beautiful girls, aged 4 and 9 months. Been here for about 8 years after a stint in the UK, a little short stint. We used to work for a financial planning and employee benefits firm, and last year in December I opened up my own company with in partnership with some other Kingswood chaps in Port Elizabeth, and that means we're probably going to, as a family, move down to the Eastern Cape, back to PE at the end of this year, which means there's a possibility my little girls can go to Kingswood one day. I don't know how excited their mother is about that, but it makes me wonder, sending them to boarding school, if our parents actually did love us, because it's going to be hard for me to do that. Great memories from Kingswood, too many to count. Best decision of my life was to move to that school from Grey and Port Elizabeth. I got to say, guitar lessons with Sherwin Woodley in Jagger House. Sherwin and Toffee. Sherwin used to teach Toffee and I. Got to be up there. And then just hanging out in the common rooms with all the characters that I miss to this day. And I look forward to seeing you all in 2021. I hope we can make it happen.
Hi everyone, it's Catherine Willows Reynolds. I live outside of East London with my son who is 3 and my daughter who's 2 and my husband. I'm really sorry to be missing the reunion this year. I was really looking forward to it. There are some people that I haven't seen since those last couple of days in Matric. I cannot believe it's been 20 years. In some ways it feels like it was just the other day. In terms of memories and stories, there are so many that I can rely upon, but the good ones are not the ones that can be repeated, especially in front of little ears. They will have to be told over a good couple of drinks. So I'm sending lots of love, and I promise to see you next year, where we will have to make up for this year and celebrate a little bit more. All right, bye.
Hey everyone, Roland Lombard here from Kingswood, 2000. Currently I'm out at Pumba Game Reserve, just outside Grahamstown. It's very quiet over here, with no guests and all the rest. Favorite memory, being told by the headmaster that he likes me because I'm a rogue. But now that I think about it, I don't know if the memory was actually true. And staff members, Mr. James, Mr. Jones. And I saw someone the other day was asking about Mr. Jones. He's actually still working at Kingswood, as far as I know. He was there last year. Anyway, hopefully we get to catch up sometime. Miss you guys. Ciao.
Oh, hi, it's me. Oh, actually, I thought with all the chaos that coronavirus has caused lately, a lot of you might not recognize me. So I thought what I'd do is play a little game, go through a couple of facts from our schooling lives and see which one of you can remember who I am. Fact number one, I was head boy, of 3 schools actually, and head girl of one of them as well.
Were you head boy of Kingswood?
No, Kingswood wasn't actually one of them. There I narrowly missed out to a chap who I believe went on to become an extra in the Game of Thrones series, so I mean, I can hardly be embarrassed about that one, can I? Anyway, back there, that's where the magic happens, or happened, at least twice. Come on, let me show you around. Hi. You just got me in the middle of my morning routine. Actually, let's cut this one.
No, man, it's fine. Carry on.
No, I feel like that people are going to think I'm showing off, you know, with the big dumbbells. I think maybe...
Bruce, those are 4 kgs.
This is like 40 kgs is like what I did at my peak, love, and I mean, still in such good shape. And I don't want to make people feel bad, you know, it's been like 20 years since school, so a lot of people might have let themselves go, and I don't want them to look at me and be like, wow, that guy, he's done well, you know. Do you have smaller weights? Maybe just some smaller weights.
I don't think you get smaller weights than that.
Okay. Oh, hi. You know they say a man's home is his castle. On the weekends I like to do a little DIY. We've been living here for about 8 years. You know, spruce the place up a little. I know a lot of husbands out there try to do DIY, but never finish their projects, and then there's tools lying around, unfinished projects all over the place. And hey, eyes on me. Eyes on me, please. Not me though. My motto is precision. If you could call that a motto. I like to think of it as more of a way of life. So over here is one of my projects.
What, this?
Yeah. Showing my friends.
Bruce, Bailey and I did this last weekend.
This one.
Yes.
You know what? Enough about me. I'm sure you want to meet my family. So let's go meet my girls. Hi again. Time to meet the family. This is my little Georgia. We call her Bokkie. This is my Bok, short for Springbokkie, because we reckon one day she's gonna play for the Springboks like her dad. Well, her great granddad's friend once sat at the table right next to a Springbok once. They exchanged glances and gave an acknowledging nod to each other. Well, it was hard to say apparently whether it was an acknowledging nod or he was dipping to have a sip of his beer, but it was close enough. So yeah, we think she's got a good chance, Springbokkie, of playing for the Springboks one day. So can you wave? Say hi. Say hi, Mom. Say hi. Wave. She can wave. And this is my little ragamuffin, Bailey. Bailey Page. She's just got the latest Samsung phone. And she's 4 years old. And it's my little scallywag.
Okay, your turn.
What do you mean my turn?
Aren't you going to tell them who you are?
Liv, I look exactly the same as I did in Matric. They're all going to know who I am. Okay guys, it's Bruce Brown, aka Salty Cat, just in case some of you didn't recognize me. Oh, hi.